with what we do and how we act, which then will create our life, okay? And then we will get into stop, snap, and switch and how you're going to be starting to do this. But first, I want to have you understand how the actual brain works around things. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen. Here we go. Okay, so you have an event that happens. Okay, there's an event that happens in your life. And this event creates a thought around the event. And that thought creates a feeling. And that feeling, whether it's a good feeling or a bad feeling or a positive feeling or a negative feeling, creates an action. It makes us feel or not feel like doing something. Should we do something or not do something? And that action, right, creates our outcome, creates our life, okay? So this is very similar. I actually have been doing Stop, Snap, and Switch forever. One of my team members, Vicky, she worked with someone named, she is actually a certified coach from Brooke Castillo, and Brooke Castillo teaches something very, very similar to this. She calls it circumstance, thought, feeling, action, and then I think result. And what I've done is very similar to her based upon what I'm going to show you next. Okay, so here's something that I have created years and years ago. And basically it's like, okay, we have a thought. What is a thought? A thought is an attitude, it's a belief, it's a philosophy about something, about some kind of event that's happened, something that's going on in our life right now. That attitude, that thinking, that philosophy, that belief, it actually creates a feeling, an emotion that develops from the thought, whether it's a good one or a bad one. Okay, good feeling or a bad feeling. From the thought, from the actual event that's going on. And that feeling creates and shapes an action. It's a habit, it's a ritual, it's a routine, it's what we do, it's how we implement, or it's what we don't do. Okay, now remember, this can go both positive or negative. And that action, right? Input equals output. That action is what creates our life. That's how we get the result, the success, the growth, or the lack thereof. I have this one as well, which is a little bit different color, so you can choose to use that one. So let me just kind of go ahead and sort of get you to understand this right now, okay? So our attitude, our belief, our philosophy. I'm going to stop sharing now, so that way, because you kind of understand exactly like what it is that you've seen it now. Now I can kind of sort of get into it. So the thought that we have about an event or circumstance, a circumstance or event that's either past or present. It's something like, I don't know how I'll compete with insert the competitor's name, or why they would ever want to work with me. I don't understand, right? Or I'm not good enough. I'm not good with tech. I'm never going to make it. People aren't going to buy from me because of fill in the blank, okay? What you have to understand is that thinking creates a feeling, an emotion that develops from the thought that we had regarding the event. And let me ask you a question. When you are feeling fearful, and you're only thinking of all the things that could go wrong or that won't work, when you feel anxiety, how does that make you want to act? What does that cause you to want to do, right? You feel stuck, you feel powerless, you feel helpless, you feel paralyzed, you take no action, you freeze. And it all 100% start with how we are thinking about things. The feelings, those feelings of fear, stress, anxiety, worry, they cause you to want to do nothing. You lose faith in yourself. You put little or no effort in. You sleep in, you push the snooze button on life. When things get difficult, you don't seek solutions. You say things to yourself like, this is just how things are. Things never work out for me. Why would I ever think I could do this? You then create negative routines and negative habits. Your rituals are keeping you confined and destined to an average life. Those actions create failure and lack of success in every single area of your life. The lack of money, the lack of time, lack of freedom, lack of business, lack of clients, lack of happiness. It creates lack in every single area of your life. And it all starts from having some type of an event and a thought that we associate from it that creates an action, right, which is positive or negative, that creates our life. So now let's reverse it. Let's reverse it. Positive thinking, having a good attitude, having a belief that things are good for you, that everything works out for you, like you're on the right path. this is going to work. I can do this. I can see how this will work for me. I am fully capable. I have all the answers. The answers will come. I believe and I know that I have absolute faith. What is faith? Faith is it's a certain belief in something that you can't see. That's what faith is. Now that thinking creates a feeling of an emotion of empowerment. It makes you feel unstoppable. That emotion, that creates your actions, right? Your habits, your rituals, your routines, how you implement, right? So good thoughts create empowering feelings. These empowering feelings shape powerful emotions, okay? Is this making, let me stop sharing here for a second. Is this making sense to you? All right, it all starts from the way that we think about things. That's why next I'm going to teach you stop, snap, and switch so that you learn how to control what it is that you're thinking and recognize when your thinking is hurting you and not helping you. Remember, when you have an empowering feeling, okay, that creates an action that makes you want to do things when things are hard. That through when things get difficult, because life does get difficult, things can get hard. It creates you to seek solutions, seek guidance, creating good routines, having rituals that are actually built to help you, actions that create success in every single area of your life, and knowing that it will work out no matter what. And those actions, those routines, those positive rituals, those positive activities that you do every single day, the way that you implement, it creates a result. The growth, the success in your life, and again, lack thereof. Those positive actions creates the money, it creates the time, it creates the freedom, it creates the happiness. It literally creates the life that you dream of, one that you never thought was even possible. Results, success, growth, happiness, your life. Okay, so that's what it all is. Let me just go ahead and share this with you again one more time so that you can see it and kind of get an idea of exactly how it works. Okay, so again, there's an event, creates a thought, that thought creates a feeling, that feeling creates an action, that action creates your life. Okay, so let's kind of sort of get into it now, right? Event, thought, feeling, action, outcome, life. So think about this. Interest rates, that's an event, that's happening. Okay, what's the thought? If it's a negative thought, it's affecting my business, I have no clients, I'm screwed. That creates a feeling of scarcity, lack. So that feeling of scared, it's not going to work. There's life, the sky is falling. Makes you want to watch Netflix all day to get your mind off of it. That outcome, no business. Okay? Interest rates. Let's change it now. Let's reverse it. They will drop. They always do. The economy has been here before, and it's all worked out. That makes you feel hopeful. That hopeful creates an action of, I can create new marketing to differentiate myself from my competition. People are leaving the industry. This is really a good time for me now. And then I'm going to get new leads. I'm going to get new business. Okay? Let's just say you have no leads. Negative thought. No one needs me. I have no business. It makes you feel worried, fearful. That worried, that fearful makes you freeze. You think, let me look for another job. There's no leads. Nobody wants to work with me. I better get out of my said profession. Okay, that outcome is you leave your dream career. Okay, let's change it. No leads. I can apply new marketing techniques. I have what it takes to attract leads. That makes you feel empowered. I can run new lead ads. I can create new content. That is going to attract new leads, which will lead to more business. Okay? Think about this. I'm not making enough money. I am 100% capable of making millions. I have this amazing community. They can help me. I am resourceful. I am resilient. I do have what it takes. That makes you feel confident. Now I'm going to create new videos. I'm going to learn new things. I'm going to show up. I'm going to implement. Right? And that is how you become a millionaire. Okay? So I want you to understand, it all starts 100% from an event in our life that creates a thought about that event, which creates a feeling, positive or negative. That positive or negative feeling creates an action. That action is going to be a positive or negative action. And if we act positively, do the work, do the thing, put in the time, we're going to have a positive result, success, growth. And it's just the opposite if we don't. Okay. So now that is how explaining how events in life, circumstances in life, okay, and how we think about it will create the action that creates the results. Next, we're going to go and get into stop, snap, and switch. Now it's time to recognize those thoughts. So when I'm like, we're going to train our brain to unleash our limitless life. Again, all starts from the thoughts associated with an event. And I'll see you in the next training. Okay, so we are going to work on stop, snap, and switch. Now, this right here, remember, thoughts become things, energy goes where focus flows. And when I was writing the book, Stop, Snap, and Switch, the whole year was studying research studies to justify everything that's in the book. It was looking at how the brain works, reading books like Cybergenetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz and tons of other ones to really justify everything behind stop, snap, and switch. And here is what you need to understand is that research shows there's different research as far as how many thoughts we actually have. Some say we have between 30 and 40. Some say we have up to 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, okay? In other words, we have a lot of thoughts every single day. And a lot of the thoughts are repetitive thoughts. They're things that we say over and over again. I want you to think about your own life. Are there some repetitive thoughts that you say over and over again? And a lot of times these repetitive thoughts are actually negative thoughts. It's negativity. And we know that what we think about becomes, right? Our thoughts, our beliefs, our philosophies, all of those thoughts create some type of a feeling. That feeling then creates an action, whether it's a good action or a bad action. And that action then creates the success, the results, the growth, or lack thereof, okay? So we have to get really good at recognizing what we're thinking, what we're saying to ourselves. And here's what I'll tell you is that we say things to ourselves that we would never say to anybody else. We say things to ourselves we would never say to our children or our loved one or our spouse or our coworkers. We berate and beat ourselves up all the time. It looks something like this. Oh my gosh, you didn't get enough done today. Oh, you're so stupid. Why did you ever think you could even try that? Like you're way too old to be thinking that you can do something with technology. Like, what are you even thinking? Or you are way too new in this industry. Why do you think that you're going to be able to beat XYZ person? Those are all negative thoughts, right? And they're thoughts that, again, we would never say to anybody else. We would never say to our children. We wouldn't, but we say them to ourselves all the time. So we have to start getting in the habit of stopping and recognizing the negative thoughts. So when a negative thought comes to your mind, like, oh my gosh, I've tried this before, I screwed it up, it didn't work, why should I even try? Okay? Negative thought, that thought right there does not give you a good feeling. It's like, it gives you a feeling of defeat, and why bother? Okay? So when we think that way, we're going to stop and recognize it. We're going to snap the bracelet because we want to get, this could be a hair tie, a bracelet, a rubber band, anything, okay? Something that you can easily move from one hand to the next without hurting yourself. So I'm going to stop and recognize the negative thought, snap the bracelet and switch it. Switch the bracelet to their side, because the goal is I want to get my brain, my body, my thought processes, everything in conjunction, so it all has, it's all working together. The goal is to train your brain to unleash your limitless life. Doing this activity is going to train your brain. There's so much research, which I'm going to get into in the next training, about our thoughts and how we're going to do a lot of what's in Thrive multiple times throughout the day. So we do all these little things within 60 to 90 seconds to help us really promote serotonin, dopamine, happiness, and all that. Okay. So now I'm going to restate that statement. Like, you know what? Now I have support. I've got the right team. I have everything right in front of me that I need. Before I may have failed, but I'm in a different place now. I can do this. Okay. Oh my gosh, I have no time, and there's not enough time. You know what? I'm going to start using my success sprints. I've got plenty of time. I have 16 extra hours a week if I just do success sprints. Okay, that is stop, snap, and switch. Now, here's the thing about stop, snap, and switch. I highly recommend you tell your spouse, your coworker, your children, get your children involved in this, okay? And it starts at such of a young age. And I know that some of the teenagers might think that we're crazy and we're too whatever you want to call it. But I promise you this works. And when you get your friends, your family, your spouse, your associates involved in it, I mean, it's going to really help you. So stop, recognize the negative thought, snap the bracelet, switch it, and restate that negative thought into a positive one. Now, here's what gets really cool. First of all, you're going to realize, oh my gosh, I talk to myself negatively all the time. I'm constantly repeating negative thoughts. These negative thoughts don't necessarily just need to be about you. It could be about your job environment, your coworker, your spouse, your children. It could be about anything, right? It could be about the way that you feel about your body. It could be about your energy level, anything, how much money you make or lack thereof. You know, saying things like, you're just creating it. I have one student who, I'm telling you, she is amazing, but she constantly creates her lack of abundance when it comes to money. She's developed a negative relationship with money, and she's constantly creating her success or lack thereof when it comes to money. Remember, there is research after research after research that the neurotransmitters in our brain do not know the difference between what we think about and what we actually do. And there's a lot of evidence to support that. There's actually a whole book that was written on all the different things where they would take one group that did the thing, one group that thought about the thing, and one group that did nothing. And inevitably, time after time, the group that actually thought got very close, if not the same results as people that actually did the activity. So our thoughts matter. What we say to ourselves matter. What we think about matter. So stop, snap, and switch. If you haven't already, part of what I need you to do is to read this book, right? I'm not trying to make money on the book. We'll give you a free download. We'll put a free book link to this book in this training. You've got the free ebook. Also, we'll give you the audio book on this. Free audio book, right? Free audio, free downloadable resource for you to start doing it. But this is a part of what you are going to want to start doing every single day. It all starts with what we think about. Mindset's more important than skill set. In order for me to have any of the success that I wanted, I absolutely had to get my mind in control and on track. And if you want to unleash your limitless life, you need to train your brain to do so. And stop, snap, and switch. We'll hope for that.